Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So you're gonna have to excuse any noise in the background or just excuse just the way this whole video is gonna be filmed because I'm filming this on my phone with my window open. So there's noise outside and I'm gonna try to edit it out the best way that I can. So as you can see by the title of this video, I wanted to talk about how to detach from an emotionally unavailable person, a dismissive avoidant person, a nonchalant person, whatever, category you want to put them in. If you dated one of these people, I'm sure you know that it can be very, very difficult to detach from them. Even after the relationship is over, it's like they still stick with you. And I've gotten a bunch of messages, comments, emails about this very topic. People are like, oh, I've broken up with this person years ago, but for some reason I still can't let them go. And I feel like I should be able to. And it's completely normal that you can't, because when you're dealing with a person who is more detached emotionally, it really does hit our rejection or abandonment wound. Even human beings who don't have a rejection wound are still sensitive to rejection. It's just wired in us. If you look up studies on rejection, if a human being is rejected even by a stranger, it lights up the part of our brain that is associated with physical pain. So it's just wired in us to not like rejection. Back when we used to live in tribes, a rejection from the tribe would mean that you're going to die, pretty much. Like, you're going to starve to death if your tribe banishes you, right? So it's still hardwired into our mind to fear rejection and to feel pain when we're being rejected. So if you are someone who on top of that has a rejection wound or has an abandonment wound, someone being so detached in that way and them just kind of leaving and moving on with their life as if you don't exist, yeah, it can cut very, very deep. And of course, it can keep you in a spiral of fixating on that person and not being able to let them go. And ultimately what that does is it stops you from being able to manifest a love into your life that you actually deserve. It stops you from being able to attract an emotionally available partner into your life. So I'm hoping with this video, I can kind of help with the process of detaching from this type of person. And also I did an in-depth Patreon post to go along with this video. So if you can't afford to subscribe to my Patreon just yet, no worries. This video will still have enough information for you to be able to start on your process of detaching. But on Patreon, I did do a more in-depth healing session, and it also comes with a worksheet that has a series of questions that kind of takes you step by step on how to detach from this person. So there's no guesswork. It's very much clearly laid out for you what you have to do. So, if this video resonates with you and you want to subscribe to my Patreon so you can get the more in-depth healing session, then the link to that will be in the description. Okay, so sorry, a motorcycle just went past. Once again, I'm trying to power through this, but it's so loud outside and it's just kind of annoying when you're trying to film and there's a bunch of noises. Okay, so I guess I should start with talking about my experience with this type of person. I dated someone who has dismissive avoidant attachment style years ago, and it was an extremely painful experience. This person consistently just made me feel like I was very much alone. When I was vulnerable, when I was hurt, they would just stonewall, they would shut down, and I just constantly felt abandoned, and my abandonment wounds were being triggered every single time they shut down. It's like they were making my abandonment wounds even worse, and my reaction to them shutting down was getting worse and worse to the point where the relationship just had to end. And so they pretty much ended the relationship and they kind of just moved on with their life. They didn't really show that they were sad at all. It was kind of just like, well, you were here today and or you were here yesterday and you're gone today, and that's just that. And that is how detached people usually deal with breakups. Even if they do feel sad about it, even if they do feel like they miss you or they're hurting, they won't really show it. They will kind of bury those feelings and just move on with their life. The guy that I was dealing with, he was a workaholic, so he just kind of buried himself in work and then, you know, got into a new relationship. So it was kind of like I didn't exist. Like he just kind of erased me. And, you know, when you go on social media, you know, you'll see people say that that's not a big deal, or like that you shouldn't care. Like, oh, if someone erased you out of their life, then you just erase them out of theirs and you move on. But it's not that simple. Like when you are a very sensitive person and when you were genuinely attached to this person, it's not that simple to just, you know, pretend that they don't exist. I feel like I try to kind of shut down and, you know, behave the way that he was behaving, like pretend that he doesn't exist. But I don't like the person that it turned me into. I don't like how avoidant I became, or how like detached I became. It made it so that I had a hard time attaching to anyone after that. So I made the conscious decision to like open myself back up, feel the pain, and then I came up with a method on how I could detach from this person, because I knew that I was ready to experience love with an emotionally available person. So basically, the method that I use is much like a lot of healing methods that I use, where I will get to the root of why I'm feeling a certain way. And once you get to the root of it, it's very easy to then come up with solutions, right? The first reason that you would be stuck on this person or attached to this person still is because you have put them up on a pedestal. If you're someone who has more of an anxious, preoccupied attachment style, and for those of you who don't know what attachment styles are, I'll leave the link to the playlist down below so that you can watch the videos, and this video will make much more sense to you. But yeah, if you're someone who has more of a anxious, preoccupied attachment style, then more than likely you're someone who really devalues yourself. You know, you kind of look down on yourself. You're really hard on yourself, but you put your partner up on a pedestal. Like that's just the nature of having anxious, preoccupied attachment style. It's like we put our partners up here and we put ourselves down there. And so putting this person on a pedestal is going to make it difficult for you to detach from them. You know, you're looking up to them. You want their approval. You want their validation. You want them to make you feel worthy. So yeah, when they cut you off and they act like you don't exist, that's going to sting really, really bad. So, you know, that's nothing to feel ashamed of, that you're having a hard time detaching when you look at it through that lens. So reason number 2 that this person is hard to detach from is that there is a lesson that you have not learned from them just yet. I strongly believe that when you manifest a person to your life, or when you're attracted to a person, they are meant to teach you something, right? There's some sort of lesson in there. And until we learn that lesson, it's going to be hard to detach from them. Because if you think about it, when you have not learned the lesson, or when you have not identified the lesson, it sort of feels like there's unfinished business, right? It's like, okay, in the beginning, we met, I got attached to him, right? In the middle, I tried my best to get this person to love me. I tried my best to get this person to see me. And I tried my best to hold on to this person, right? And then they pretty much just left and didn't look back. That's not a very pleasant ending. And so it's like your brain is kind of looping over and over again, not happy with that ending. And so it's time to rewrite it and make a new ending. And to me, the new ending would be you learned a lesson from the situation. You identified something within you that needed to heal from this person, and then you started on your healing journey. You see what I'm saying? That's so much better than this unfinished business, or this terrible ending of like you just got thrown in the trash and then that's that. Like, no. This ending of, you know, I learned a valuable lesson from this experience is so much more empowering, and it really does stop you from being in that repetitive mental cycle, playing out over and over again what you just experienced, you know? Okay, and last, this kind of piggybacks off of what I just said about learning lessons. Another reason that we get so attached to this person and stay attached to them is because they are hitting a wound that has not yet been healed. And they have left us with a certain feeling because of the fact that they have hit that wound, right? So if we have an abandonment wound and that person has hit that abandonment wound, it has made us feel invisible. It has made us feel worthless, right? So the way that I combat this is by looking up the opposite of how they have made me feel and I try to embody that energy in my day-to-day life. I try to seek out that energy in my day-to-day life. Like, for example, if they made me feel worthless and I'm stuck in that emotion, the opposite of worthless is worthy. So then I will go and I will spend time with people who make me feel worthy. I will go and do things that make me feel worthy. You know, I will practice a level of self-care that makes me feel worthy. So it's like identifying the feeling that they have left in you from those wounds, and then identify the opposite and kind of construct your life around the opposite, you know? And this definitely works. It's definitely effective. I've mentioned this in past videos before, so I've been doing this for years and years. You know, if your wounds are really deep, I'm not saying that this will 100% heal them. You know, for some of you, you will probably have to seek out some type of professional help, some type of possibly like psychotherapy and things of that sort to help you with these wounds. But, you know, for the most part, the things that I've laid out, they've drastically helped me to kind of remove myself from this person and detach myself from you know, from their energy completely. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, if you want more in-depth information and you also want the worksheet, I will leave the link to my Patreon down below. And if you do choose to, you know, go through my in-depth healing session on Patreon, by the end of it, you will be on the right track towards completely detaching from this person and manifesting the love that you deserve. Because it's just very painful staying stuck in that loop. It's very, it just feels like your life is on hold, or at least that's how it felt for me when I was still attached to this person. It felt like my whole life was on hold. This feeling of worthlessness that they left me with was affecting every aspect of my life, not just the ability to manifest new love, but also it was affecting my work. You know, it makes you more timid when it comes to going after your goals. It just really affects all parts of your life. So I'm hoping that by you being able to detach from this person, it will overall just improve the quality of your life. So like I said, I will leave the link to my full healing session in the description box down below. And I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.